Alright, welcome to the fourth video in this fourth module. So the next most critical basic that we need to look at is hand independence. We actually looked at hand independence in the second module as well as finger dexterity, right? And the reason why we did that is because hand independence and finger dexterity are the two most foundational basics. That module was called Foundations, right? And the whole idea is that we wanted to establish this foundation. So that's why I introduced these two basics to you back then, so that you could start working on them. So just to quickly recap, hand independence is all about having each hand operate independently of the other hand, right? So we want to be able to play one thing here with the left hand and something completely different with the right hand. That's how we play music on the keyboard and the piano, right? So what we need to do is we need to have each hand be like its own mind, its own agent that can operate on the keyboard in its own terms, and it's not tied to the other hand, right? Because when you first start learning to play the keyboard or the piano, your hands are like tethered together, and one of the first things we need to do is cut that tie so that they can think and operate independently of each other. Now, I mentioned in that module that achieving hand independence is like one of the first main goals that we need to achieve, right? This is like a big obstacle that we encounter, and it's one of the first goals we need to achieve to actually get going to play good sounding music on the keyboard and on the piano. And so on that basis, in this video, I'm going to share with you two more exercises that you can practice to really start working on that hand independence and really work towards achieving that big goal. Now, these two exercises use our favorite scale. You guessed it, the 5-note scale. So we're just going to use the 5-note scale for these two exercises. But what I will say is that later on in this module, we're going to revisit hand independence with some of the new material that we unlock throughout this module, because I might imagine that the 5-note scale is getting a little bit boring for you now. But hey, it's very practical and useful for us to really start to establish that foundation and start to build our basics, right? Okay, so I'm going to chuck on my metronome at 80 BPM, and I'm just going to demonstrate the first exercise, and then I'll explain what's going on to you. Okay, so that's the first exercise. Now, hopefully you can see why this is a hand independence exercise. The whole goal with hand independence is that we want to be able to play different things with both hands at the same time. So what we're doing here is we're playing different rhythms with the hands. So both hands are actually playing the same 5-note scale, just at different speeds. Alright, so in this exercise, we always have one hand operating at the fast speed. So we're going to start with the left hand at the fast speed. So it's going to play 2 notes for every beat of the metronome, like this. Now the right hand is going to start at the super slow speed, where we're going to play 1 note for every 4 notes in the fast hand. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right, so that is step 1. Now step 2 is alternating the hands, okay? So now the right hand is going to be the fast hand and the left hand is going to be the slow hand. Okay, so that's the first half of the exercise. Now what we're going to do is we're going to double the speed of the slow hand so that it plays 1 note for every 2 notes in the fast hand. Okay, so we alternate back so that the left hand is going to be the fast hand again and the right hand is going to be the slow hand, right? So it's going to look like this now. And of course, then we alternate so that the right hand is the fast hand and the left hand is the slow hand, like this. Okay, so that is the whole exercise, right? And you want to keep practicing that, running through that, so that you're working on these different rhythms with both hands at the same time. And it can be very effective for starting to work towards and achieving that hand independence goal. Okay, let's look at the second exercise now. I'll demonstrate it first, and then I'll explain how to play it. Okay, so as you can see, it's quite similar to the first exercise. So one hand is going to stay consistent. We're going to start with the left hand being the consistent hand. You want to try your best to make it as automatic and as natural as you can in the consistent hand. Okay, so then the right hand is going to climb up with the left hand, but then it's going to stay up there as the left hand goes down, and then as the left hand comes back up, the right hand is going to come back down. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Hold, come back down, hold, climb back up, hold, come back down, hold. Right, so that's of course step one, and then step two is alternating the hands, so that now our right hand is going to be the consistent hand and the left hand is going to hold. Okay, so those are the two exercises. Learn those, practice those, and really start working towards achieving that hand independence. Now, as I said, we're actually going to revisit hand independence later on in the module and look at some more exercises with some of the material that we unlock in this module. Okay, so that's everything. I'll see you in the next video.